Right, good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to the Monday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. It's back to European Outlook Day, and it is the start of a new week. We are obviously into June, meteorological summer, and I thought I would start off today's video by looking back at some of the data for the month of May, but also the spring overall. As you can see, warmest spring and May on record for the UK, and I know there's a few folks on the channel that are very, very quickly going to dismiss that. But basically, the numbers don't lie, folks, and it has been a remarkably mild spring, warmest, like I say, on record. The month of May was outstandingly mild. It really was like a midsummer month. Certainly up here across the north, we had temperatures as high as 26.1 Celsius. Back last May, the high was only 21.6. So even just in this month, May just gone versus last May, some of the numbers were quite notable. Certainly in terms of night times, the nighttime temperatures have been remarkably mild, and that really has been the main reason behind the warmest May on record. Certainly at my personal weather station up here in the far north of Scotland, we had 10 nights no lower than 10 Celsius. Whereas I think last May it was 3 nights where we had temperatures no lower than 10 Celsius. So very, very notable amount of nights, cloudy nights, like nights where we've just simply not seen the temperature dropping off that much at all. The minimum temperature, by the way, was only 4.2, whereas last May the temperature dropped to 0.0. So it did hit the freezing mark last May on the 2nd. It has got nowhere near that this May. So this is a tweet here by Liam Dutton. Let's have a look and see what the stats are showing from the Met Office themselves here. So the UK had its warmest May and meteorological spring on record, according to provisional figures from the Met Office, in what was also a very wet and dull season as well. Like I said, the nighttime temperatures have not dropped off that much at all, and likely skewing the overall figures here when you combine both. Certainly daytime temperatures were warm, especially across northern areas of the UK. So it was a warmer than average May when you compile the England and Wales, but it was a remarkably warm May, especially across the northern half of the UK. And you can see that quite clearly in these graphics here. So anyway, May 2024 average mean temperature 13.1. My average temperature was 13.2, so slightly above the UK mean, and beats 2008 for the previous record figure, which is 12.1 in the series dating back to 1884. The month's mean temperature has been influenced particularly by above average temperatures in the northern UK, with Scotland's May mean temperature being 12.3, beating 2018 for the previous record by 1.6 degrees Celsius. That is a very, very notable rise compared to the previous record. So basically, May 2024 was warmer than the previous May by as much as 1.6 Celsius. England and Northern Ireland also set a mean temperature record for the month of May, while Wales equalled its figure in 2008. So remember, I also said to you about rainfall. Now, over the last week to 10 days, the final week to 10 days of May turned out a lot wetter than even expected, especially for northern areas of the UK. That means that we have actually seen a slightly wetter than average month for the UK as a whole. So obviously I did forecast a warmer but drier month with dry north, wet south. So that was what was expected in my outlook issued back at the end of April for the UK. So we'll look at rainfall in just a second, but a Met Office spokesperson, so this is the article obviously issued by the Met Office themselves. A Met Office spokesperson said that while may not have felt like for many to be a particularly warm May with sunshine in relatively short supply, provisional figures show May was the warmest on record in the series dating back to 1884. Though this warmth was especially influenced by high overnight temperatures, with the average UK minimum temperature for being only 1.2 Celsius higher than the previous record. So not only are we seeing the remarkable record being broken by 1.6, the in terms of minimum temperature, the record has been surpassed by the previous record by 1.2 Celsius. Rainfall was above average for the UK, while some areas in the south saw over a third more rain than average. In contrast, Northern Ireland and Scotland were slightly drier than average, so it kind of fits the overall idea that I had for the month of May. And you can see the graphic representing the mean temperature for the UK here, and you can see that steady rise from 1890 all the way till now. But listen, folks, don't shoot the messenger. I'm only showing you what the Met Office are telling us here. Mixed rainfall for May across the UK. Like I say, drier than average across the northwest and Northern Ireland in particular. But you can see here down across the borders, Fife, we've seen quite a lot of significant rainfall, over 200% of normal rainfall here. Whereas you've got the, 33 to 20% of normal rainfall across the Northwest Highlands, and it was quite dry across Northern Ireland as well. And you can see here the bulk of England and Wales largely wetter than average. A few areas, actually a few spots seeing slightly drier, but also average in terms of rainfall. It was a very dull month. Sunshine amounts were below average for the UK in May. This is quite interesting because typically you would find in the warmest Mays or the warmest months more in the way of sunshine, and this again just reinforces the mild nights, the cloudy nights. That's kept the temperature from dropping off. But for the UK as a whole, it saw 159.3 hours of sunshine, which was 17% fewer than average, with for England, Wales, and Scotland, Northern Ireland all having below average sunshine hours. So rather interesting stuff. And like I say, the Met Office have declared that spring 2024, which is incorporating March, April, and May, for those three meteorological months of spring, was the warmest on record by mean temperature, and figures that were influenced by high overnight temperatures. So again, it goes with this theme of less in the way of clear skies and light winds, allowing the temperature to radiate back to space. We've seen the temperatures holding up. So I'll actually try and leave a link in the description below today's videos with this article, so you can read this at your leisure here, because I don't have enough time to look through in particular detail. But this is spring 2024 rainfall compared to average for the UK, and you can see here a very, very wet spring following on from the wet autumn last year and the wet winter going as well here. It's been a very, very wet spring, so a lot of moisture in the ground. You can see here the theme really from last autumn through last winter and even the spring. That northwestern corner of the UK has remained drier than average, which is rather interesting actually. You can see here it's been a generally dull spring as well here, with pretty much everywhere seeing below average amounts of sunshine. So quite interesting stuff in my opinion. Now, this is an interesting tweet here by London and Southeast Weather, specifically talking about the London area here, May 2024. This is from London and Southeast Weather. Like I say, in London was a very mild May, with the joint fifth warmest on record. So 2017 and 2020, I believe, were warmer Mays for the London area, with an average temperature of 15.1, which is 1.3 above the 91 to 2020 average. Not categorized, hard word to say, by any heat, just persistently warmer than average by day and night, prevailing theme through 2024 so far. So also quite an interesting Twitter page to follow if you're down in the London area and southeast of England. It also has been an unusually cool start to summer, believe it or not, with a high just a few days ago only of 16.1. Quite an unusually cool temperature for early June. If I can try and find it, it would be quite interesting to show you this. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do so, unfortunately. But it was certainly a cool start to the month of June and meteorological summer for the southeast of England. I'll try and look into that in the next day or so. So yeah, there you go. Warmest May, warmest spring on record for the UK. Let's have a look and see what the current satellite image is looking like for today. And you can see here that we've got fairly sunny skies across, particularly the northern UK. We've got a little bit more in the way of cloud cover across England, Wales, Ireland, and Northern Ireland here. We also have some fairly sunny skies across the bulk of France. We've got a fairly decent day across Spain and Portugal, as you can see here as well. Let's have a look and see what the current radar is showing. Not an awful lot. As you can see, some heavy showers starting to blow up across the northwest of Scotland, but generally dry for the rest of the UK and Ireland here. Looking at current temperatures for the UK, no great shakes really for the 3rd of June. We do have 19 Celsius in a few spots in the east. We've even got 20 at Lookers and Fife. Further west, we've only got 13s and 14s in the northwest of the country here. Generally around the upper teens to around 20 across central and southern Scotland. Then as you go further south, we've only got 14s, 15s, 16s across western portions of Wales. As you go eastwards across England and Wales, you can see the temperatures rising into the low 20s across Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. We're ranging from 13 in Donegal and the northwest to around 18, 19 Celsius at best across south and southeastern areas of Ireland. Looking at the continent here, this is the current temperatures. So a fairly warm day once again across southern portions of southeastern Norway, southern Sweden, and also central and pretty much the vast majority of Finland is actually above 20 Celsius this afternoon. So we'll continue on. Looks as if May was the warmest on record for several portions of Scandinavia, if not the whole of Scandinavia. We've still got relatively fresher conditions across Central Europe. France not doing too bad. We've still got quite some decent temperatures across Spain and Portugal, where we've had the temperatures 39 to 41 Celsius in recent days. Still got temperatures in the mid to generally the low to mid 30s this afternoon. Plenty of heat across parts of Greece and Turkey, where we've got temperatures as high as 40 Celsius in inland western areas of Turkey. So still got a lot of heat across Eastern Europe and across the southwest. Now, it looks as if as we go through the course of this week, we are going to be talking about probably one of the coolest air masses that we've seen in quite some time across the British Isles. As the high that dominated the majority of the weekend, that is now sliding westwards and northwestwards, and is going to open the door to some early summer brand Arctic air. So you can see here, as we play through the loop, no heat wave to speak about through at least the first 15 to 20 days of June. Down comes that air mass that we haven't seen in quite a while. Notice here that any warmth is primarily focused on Spain and Portugal, in the southern areas of France as well. And as we play through this loop, you can see that we are going to continue to see the feed of chilly air across the UK all the way to the upcoming weekend. We do cut that northerly flow off as higher pressure builds in over the UK as we progress through the course of the weekend. But notice here that according to the latest run of the GFS, there is no feed of warm air to speak about all the way through at least mid-month. We've got an area of low pressure that moves in towards the middle portions of the month. That is going to cycle more cool air from the north into the UK as we go towards the second half of next week and even beyond that. Looks as if we may flirt, according to the latest run of the GFS, with something a little bit milder. But notice here, all the way out to Tuesday the 18th of June, there is still fresh air over the UK. And it would not surprise me if we see temperatures struggling to hit 10 Celsius across the north. Mid to late this week in particular, we are going to struggle. 10 Celsius at best across parts of the Highlands, and even 16, 17 Celsius at very best across the southern UK for daytime maximums. With clear skies and light winds, we may see inland frosts later this week. So we'll have a look at the details in terms of temperature by day and by night in the next few days, so stay tuned for that. Hit that like button, share with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel. I do greatly appreciate that. Also, there was plenty of content back last weekend. On Saturday, looked at the tropics in quite a bit of detail. On Sunday, we looked at the 94th edition of the Global Weather and Climate. Lots of information on there with regards to a global perspective. So there is a link in the description below today's video for those videos during the past weekend. So plenty of content here on supply at Mark Vogan Weather here on YouTube. So do check that out. Check out the website as well. Summer forecast and the June outlook is freely available for you to look at as well. So yeah, lots of content for you to chew over in the days to come. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I'll see you hopefully tomorrow with more. Bye for now.